Council will call this meeting to order. For the record, it's December 12th, 2023 at 6:01 PM. We'll begin this evening's regular city council meeting with roll call attendance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilwoman Strainer.
Here.
Councilman Overton. Here. Councilwoman Burrow.
Here.
Councilman Cavanagh.
Here.
Councilman Hoagland.
Here.
Mayor Simison.
Here. Next item up is the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'd all please rise and join us in the pledge. Next up will be our community invocation, which will be delivered this evening by Pastor Vinny Hinkey. If you would all please join us in the community invocation or take this as a moment of silence and reflection.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, thank you again for the opportunity to come and pray for you, and Merry Christmas to you all. God, thank you for this evening. We thank you for the city of Meridian and the civil servants that would give of their time to serve their neighbors. We pray a special blessing upon them tonight as they lead. Would you grant them wisdom and discernment? Would you grant us unity and kindness as a city? Would we be truly neighbors who love one another? We ask all these things for your glory and our good through the name of Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pastor. Okay, next up is adoption of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Hoagland.
I move the adoption of the agenda as published.
Second. I have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda as published. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the agenda is adopted. Up next is the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Hoagland.
I move that we approve the consent agenda and that the mayor be authorized to sign and clerk to attest.
Second. I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the consent agenda is agreed to. There were no items moved from the consent agenda. So we're going to move on to proclamation. So if I can have I want to make sure I get the Hawaii High School girls rugby team and coaches join me at the podium. We will go ahead and do a proclamation. So I had to check to make sure as I was talking beforehand, but my college's women's rugby team had their own special name that I wanted to know if you guys had a special name outside of just the school name, but I'm not going to say what my college's women's rugby team name. You can ask me offline later, but not on the record from that. But we are here today to celebrate achievement on the field for another one of the Hawaii High School teams. This is becoming a pattern here in our community. So it's great that we can do that. So we'll go ahead and do a proclamation and ask the coach to say a few words. And one of the things we like to do is have all the teammates say their name and their position, their year. So it's part of the record as well. And we have another proclamation that has all your names on it that will be entered into the record as well. But I'll go and say this and turn it over to you, Coach. So whereas being a Hawaii High School rugby player is more than making passes, catches, big hits, and scoring tries. It's about developing leadership, character, confidence, resilience, discipline, and mental and physical toughness, all traits needed to succeed on the field, in the classroom, and in life. And whereas the Storm completed the regular season with a record of 18-3 and pulled off a 20-7 win in the semifinals to move on to the finals. And whereas the hard work and dedication of the Hawaii Storm girls rugby team and coaches has resulted in the program winning the National High School Girls Rugby Championship as they took a 22-17 win in sudden death overtime, proving the team was in it to win it. And whereas the third-year Storm team led an excellent Idaho effort at the Western Regionals as 5 of the 6 top places were taken from Idaho teams to proudly bring the trophy home to Meridian. And whereas the leadership, training, and discipline of their coaches helped all team members to focus their talents, passion, and determination to become a winning team, with each player making valuable contributions to their victory. Therefore, I, Mayor Robert E. Simpson, hereby proclaim December 12th, 2023 as Hawaii High School Girls Rugby National Champions Day in the city of Meridian, and call upon the community to join me in congratulating the Hawaii High Storm on their remarkable athletic achievement and for representing Meridian so proudly in the state tournament. Day this 12th day of December 2023. So first, we can have a round of applause.
Thank you, Mayor. This is just a great honor for these girls of how hard they worked. It's not always about wins and losses or championships that you win, but it's what they learn from it and how they can do a lot of hard work and determination and passion bring forth success. And that's not just in sports itself, but in life. So hopefully they can learn those lessons at a young age now so they can take that into their life. So thank you, girls, for all that work that you did. That's it.
My name is Stacy Featherstone. I'm a senior and I play a forward.
My name is Allie Perry. I'm a freshman and I play forward.
My name is Amanda Homer. I'm a sophomore and I play center.
My name is Claire Smith. I played wing and I'm a junior.
My name is Elsie Kennedy. I'm a junior and I play prop.
My name is Kanani Watts. I'm a sophomore and I played fly half.
My name is Layla Smith. I'm a senior and I played kind of both forwards and backs, I guess.
My name is Lena Evans. I'm a senior and I played hooker.
My name is Maddie Matier and I'm a senior and I play scrum half.
My name is Kalila Castillo and I'm a sophomore and I play wing.
My name is Macy Mortensen. I'm a sophomore and I'm a forward.
My name is Sequoia Austin. I'm a senior and then I played prop. My name is Tayana Powell. I'm a junior and I play prop.
Mr. Clerk, do we have anyone sign up under future meeting topics?
Mr. Mayor, we did not.
Okay, then with that, we will move on to item 18, which is our fiscal year 2024 budget amendment for not to exceed the amount of $152,435. And I will turn this over to Mr. White.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, thanks for having me tonight. As you said, I think Chris is going to put on the PowerPoint for my hope. There we go. Like Mr. Mayor said, we're here to talk about a budget amendment for a possible TI project at the home court facility and what we are calling Bay 6, which is where the research church is currently at. So, objective tonight is to hopefully get you guys to approve the proposed tenant improvement and budget amendment for the home court. The purpose for the tenant improvement is really to provide a quality, accessible, and welcoming space for our community. Bring Bay 6 up to where we consider our standards when it comes to facilities, and to make the space usable for different community education classes that we currently provide and some that we want to provide. So with that, I'll go through this. The Research Church space right now, the Research Church notified us in August that they are going to be moving out February 29th of 2024. Maybe a little before that, but that's their contract date. They've been in that facility for over 15 years. So when they first installed that stuff, so as you can tell, the paint's 15 years, the flooring's 15 years, all that kind of stuff. It's about 7,200 square feet. And the tentative date for us to want to use it is for our summer activity guide that comes out in June. So our projected date is June of 2024 with our summer activity guide. The space currently consists of 4 small classrooms, offices, a large congregation / large classroom area, lobby area, small kitchen area, restrooms, and some small cold storage. And this little map here, I'm a recreation guy, I put this together, so it's not exactly to scale, not gonna lie, but it kind of gives you an idea of what the layout is with that. The tenant improvement we're proposing really is just flooring, paint, and some miscellaneous IT needs, other things. So I'll cut to the chase. I kind of broke it out into different projects, for lack of better words, over the whole project. It's basically replacing carpet in some of the areas, paint, phones, cameras, Wi-Fi, other IT needs. Been working with IT on some of those needs to make sure that we get you to the right numbers for that. FF&Es, basically an AED, tables, chairs, benches, all the things that we'll need to host classes in there. Building signage, rekeying doors, the outside, putting a keypad on it. And just for your information, we plan on running this base 6 area like we do our current community center with a key code pad. Instructors come in, come out, they use the space, they lock up, those types of things. So we're not asking for additional staff or anything over there. It's just using like a current community center. And then some miscellaneous repairs. They haven't moved out yet, so it's hard to go and see what's there. So I wanted to give a little bit of grace on that to where we can repair stuff if needed. And that total TI is, $142,057. On top of that, we've been having some issues with when there's heavy use times at home court in general. Our Rec 1 software is a web-based software, and it just runs super slow, gets bogged down. Credit card processing bogs down, it times out, we have to redo it, and before you know it, we have a little bit of a line there when people are coming to check in. So we'd like to throw that upgrade in there too, to where it'll allow us to have more of that, I guess, capacity for Wi-Fi stuff. Why replace the carpet? I wanted to give you guys an idea of what the carpet looks like right now. It's 15 years old. It's worn, it's used, it's been done. I just kind of wanted to show that. We need multi-purpose flooring in the large room congregation area is what I'm calling it. For dance, martial arts, a lot of the movement classes that we currently have, carpet becomes a tripping hazard and things, and that's not desirable for those type of classes like martial arts and dance. So that's one of the proposals for that. Laminate in 2 of the 4 classrooms for easier cleanup because we had a lot of art classes and things like that. So that would help. Why do we need paint? You can kind of see there on the picture on the left, it's kind of tough to see, but there's kind of 2-tone colors right there, not real straight. That's kind of all the way around there. There's some nicks and dings all over the wall from wall repairs that the church has done over the past 15 years that we just want to clean up, make it look presentable and welcoming. Signage, this is the first thing you see when you first pull into the home court. If you're familiar with the parking lot there, the entrance to that is right there. Just you pull in, is right at the church front door. So the current signage is the Research Church. Obviously, that's over there. This is the after is what we're proposing for the signage on the front of the building. With that, I will stand for questions.
Thank you, Garrett. Council questions.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilman Hogan.
Garrett, on the Wi-Fi upgrade, is that going to be done sooner than the, sounds like it could be, it's needed right now. Can that be done sooner than the other repairs and renovation to the other part? Or what is it going to be still till June?
Councilman Hoagland, Mr. Mayor, that's probably a question for IT. That's why they're here. They're here to help me with the IT needs. I can probably handle most of the other questions, but I believe it can, yes, based on the thumbs up I just got from Eli.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Hoagland.
Yes, the signal was if we have the money, we can get it done soon.
I think that's what I heard too. Yeah.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Cavanagh.
Garrett, thanks for the update. And honestly, I appreciate kind of sending the presentation for us beforehand. So we get a chance to kind of review it and get some of my questions answered. It's been a long time since I've been in that space, but if I remember, a lot of those rooms are kind of office rooms. Like, I think there's maybe even some small, like, I guess would maybe serve as like Sunday school space. Is it your plan? Are we going to demo walls? Are we going to reprogram, or are we going to utilize the existing wall set up as is? And if so, maybe what's the programming benefits of using it as is, if that's the plan?
Sure. Mr. Mayor and Councilman Cavanagh, we looked at ripping out walls and things, and even when we're ripping out walls, the classroom spaces weren't as desired, and we wanted to keep costs low, to be honest, because we were wanting to make this a bigger community center in the future. Well, not this space, but build a community center in the future. So right now we're trying to keep costs low. The space that we're using is not, you know, as big as we want it to be, but it's functional and usable. So we're looking at it as we can easily put photography classes in there, art classes in there at the current space. In the current classrooms, there's actually 4 of them. There's about, one of them's 220 square feet, the other one's 250, and 2 of them are 310 square feet. So they're big enough for us to use for those types of classes. I hope that answers your question.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Cavanagh.
Garrett, it does. And I recognize kind of we're in a unique season with the Parks Department. We've got this vision for a community center. Certainly the home court is going to provide some relief as we kind of figure out our plans as a result of that. I recognize it's coming from me, and I'm sometimes a little stickler when it comes to dollars, but I almost think if we're going to start putting in carpet and painting, is it worth taking a second look to say, how do we really want this space to function, not just in the short term, but long term? And if that means combining, 2 of those smaller classrooms into a more larger space, I certainly am supportive. What I don't want to have happen is that we do this, and 2-3 years later, you guys come back and say, we've really thought about it. Now we need to start removing walls. We should have done that 3 years ago. So, as the department talked about that, Mr. Mayor, I don't know if, I just want to make sure that we're meeting the long-term vision as opposed to maybe just patching up what we have right now.
Do you want to answer it? Do you want me to answer it?
I'll let you take a stab at it.
Well, sorry, I asked the same questions when I first saw what the TI was. And to a certain extent, it is, I don't think we know if what we would want this to be long-term. But are you going to see a budget amendment in 3 more years to come back and demo out the space? Not unless there's a demonstrated need for another reason other than this, but it's base level improvements. Now, you don't have to do any improvements. You can move in as is and call it good. But until we know the future of the community center, I don't think we can answer the questions fully about what this one will be fully. And any of those costs could be throwaway costs, because this could be turned into a basics where you're offering sports classes out of it. And that's what they were trying to avoid, was doing more work than necessary, or what they thought was prudent at this point in time to get it to band-aid this through. Because if you're doing stuff like that, you're $500,000, $2 million, $500,000 to $1 million or more into a bay at the home court.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yeah.
I think to that particular point, if that is something that's being contemplated, then yeah, we shouldn't be putting in new carpet right now. Let's if the program side is to expand the bays and more court space, great. I don't want us to spend the dollars to recarpet, to only rip out the carpet and replace it with hardwood floors. So what I'm hearing is what's being proposed is viewed as the long-term solution. If that's the plan, that's what the department's at, and that's where you're at, Mr. Mayor. Look, I'm here for 2 years. And so I don't anticipate then we'll get another budget request about home court in the next 2 years. I'm good with that. What the future holds, But if this is what the department's supportive of, then I'm certainly supportive as well.
Mr. Mayor, Councilor, we are totally supportive of this tenant improvement. We did look at all these things. The mayor was absolutely correct. He did ask that same question. And it's like, this is our preference for now, and we plan on living with this for years to come. And if we do have a different need or based on gaps in the community or just basic demand, then we would come back to you and talk to you guys about it. But yeah, the Mr. Mayor said it almost perfectly.
Council, any other questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Overton.
there are no further questions. I'd like to make a motion to approve fiscal year 2024 budget amendment for a not to exceed amount of $152,434 for the Meridian Home Court Base 6 tenant improvement.
Second.
I have a motion, and a second, to approve the budget amendment. Is there further discussion? If not, clerk call the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Strater,
Aye.
Overton.
Aye.
Perot,
Aye.
Cavanagh,
Aye.
Hoagland.
All ayes, motion carries, and the item is agreed to.
Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you guys very much. Appreciate it. Have a good rest of your night.
Thank you, you too. With that, we'll move on to our action items for the evening. Up next is item 19, which is a public hearing for Crowley Park subdivision, H 2023-0053. Ask the ask for the staff to open the public hearing with staff comments. It's been a while since we've done land use application, people.
Mr. Mayor, before staff begins, I just want to inform you, Councilwoman Pearl has to exit the meeting, so there'll be just the four of us tonight.
I'll turn this over to Stacy.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. The applicant is here to present their project for Crowley Park subdivision. The applications that were submitted were annexation and preliminary plat. The site consists of 1.02 acres of land, zone R1 in Ada County, located at 4135 West Cherry Lane. History on the property is none. The comprehensive plan flume designation is medium density residential. The summary of their request is annexation of 1.002 acres of land with an R8 zoning district. Preliminary plat consisting of 4 residential building lots, including 1 existing home to remain and 1 common lot for Crowley Park subdivision. The subject property is an enclave surrounded by existing single-family residential homes. The subject site abuts an R8 development to the west and south. To the east is an R4 development, and to the north are 2 R4 developments. The property is designated as medium density residential on the future land use map, consistent with the approved development to the west. The applicant proposes a 4-lot subdivision for single-family residential detached homes and 1 single-family detached home at a gross density of 3.99 units per acre, which is within the desired density range of the medium density residential designation. A legal description and exhibit map for annexation are included. This property is within the city's area of city impact boundary. A preliminary plat and conceptual building elevations were submitted showing how the property is proposed to be subdivided and developed. The proposed use and density of the development are both consistent with the medium density residential flume designation. Proposed lots range in size from 5,148 to 9,524 square feet. The subdivision is proposed to develop in 1 phase as shown. The proposed plat appears to comply with the dimensional standards of the R8 zoning district per the UDC. Lots taking access from a common drive do not require street frontage. Access is proposed from West Cherry Lane from a common driveway on Lot 1, Block 1. Direct lot access from West Cherry Lane for Lot 2, Block 1 is prohibited. The interior lots 3, 4, 5, Block 1 are proposed to take access via a common drive to West Cherry Lane, meeting the street access requirements for the UDC. Common driveways shall serve a maximum number of 4 dwelling units. In no case shall more than 3 dwelling units be located on one side of the driveway. The applicant is proposing 4 dwelling units take access off the main common driveway. All 4 dwelling units are also located on one side of the driveway. However, 3 dwelling units are taking access via a side common drive that connects to the main common drive. The director has determined that the proposed orientation of the dwelling units off the side common drive meets the intent of the UDC code. Off-street parking is required to be provided in accordance with the standards listed in the UDC for single-family dwellings based on the number of bedrooms per unit. Staff will confirm compliance with these standards at the time of building permit submittal for each residence. The applicant has provided an additional 3 parking stalls at the end of the common drive on the southeast side of the site for overflow parking. The existing home does not meet the required number of off-street parking spaces per the UDC for a 3-bedroom home. 4 parking spaces are required, at least 2 in an enclosed garage, and others spaces may be enclosed or a minimum of a 10 by 20-foot parking pad. The existing home does not have an enclosed 2-car garage. However, the required number of parking spaces is provided via an existing carport and driveway. The applicant is proposing to enclose the carport on the north and west side with the siding materials to match the existing house. The carport shares a roof line with the existing home and is currently accessed from the west. Access to the carport will change to the south upon approval and completion of the subdivision site improvements once the entry port to the carport is shifted to the south and the common drive is constructed. The applicant is also proposing to add a fence to provide additional screening of the carport from West Cherry Lane. The existing home is recognized as non-conforming due to the off-street parking requirements in the UDC. Per the UDC, no existing structure containing a non-conforming use may be enlarged, extended, constructed, reconstructed, moved, or structurally altered except through the approval of a conditional use permit. As a result of the nonconformity, the applicant is required to apply for a conditional use permit for any future expansions on the property. A 25-foot landscape buffer is required along West Cherry Lane in accordance with the UDC. The landscape plan submitted depicts a 20-foot landscape buffer along West Cherry Lane that includes 4 existing trees. The applicant has proposed a water conserving design aimed to reduce the required landscape buffer to 20 feet in width. However, the proposed design lacks features like boulders, rocks, and/or permeable hardscape materials such as pavers, flagstone, and other water conserving grasses. The design should incorporate plants and trees that thrive in climates with approximately 1 to 12 inches of annual rainfall. Staff recommends that the applicant revise the landscape plan to comply with the requirements for a water conserving design in accordance with UDC. Cherry Lane is improved with existing 7-foot wide attached concrete sidewalks abutting the site in accordance with UDC standards. Staff is not recommending that the sidewalk be replaced at this time with a detached sidewalk. Connection to city water and city sewer services is required in accordance with the UDC. The existing home proposed to remain on Lot 2, Block 1 is required to connect to city water and sewer services within 60 days of it becoming available as set forth. Street lighting is required to be installed in accordance with city's adopted standards and specification ordinances. All fencing is required to comply with the UDC, with the standards listed in the UDC. The applicant is proposing fencing in front of the carport for screening, provided there is not a conflict with the proposed layout of a fire hydrant service line. A detail of the fencing should be provided with the final plat. Underground pressurized irrigation is required to be provided to each lot within the subdivision as set forth in the UDC. Given that the property possesses irrigation rates and access surface water rights should be used as the primary source over the groundwater well in accordance with the regulations of the Settlers Irrigation District. Building elevations, there were 3 building elevations. Conceptual building elevations were submitted that demonstrate what future homes in this development will look like. Variations of 1-story homes with 3-car garages are proposed. The submitted elevations depict a number of different architectural and design styles with field materials of lap siding, different coloring, roof profiles, and stone. I have also included some pictures of the existing home. Commission did recommend approval of the project at the hearing. The summary of the commission public hearing in favor was Penelope Constantikes, Luke Gilbert. In opposition were none. Commenting was Bill Canfield, Judy Cartwright, and Esther Burgoyne. Written testimony is none. The above people commenting, their only concerns, they were in favor of the project. Their only concerns were with the existing fencing deteriorating and falling down with the development, and concerns were raised about an existing big tree, its branches and roots extending both under and over the existing fence. Key issues of discussion by commission were none. Commission changes to staff recommendation were none. Outstanding issues for city council are none. Written testimony since the commission hearing is none. And this concludes staff's presentation, and I stand for any questions.
Thank you, Stacy. Council, any questions for staff? Okay, then would the applicant like to come forward, please?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Penelope Constantakis, representing the property owner, Luke Gilbert, Post Office Box 405, Boise, Idaho 83701. And if I might make a sidebar, I hope you don't mind, because the parks folks who are here this evening, my daughter plays in a co-ed league, and she has for about 3 years. And I can't tell you how awesome your parks are maintained. It's really quite nice, and I gave them lots of kudos while I had the chance to talk to them about it. So they do really a great job. The restrooms are always very clean and maintained, and I noticed. So thanks for doing that for everyone across the valley, actually. The applications before you this evening, as you know, are for an annexation with a zoning designation of R8 and the preliminary plat for the redesigned Crowley Park with a total of 4 detached single-family residences, 1 existing residence, and 3 new building lots for future homes. Stacy did mention that our density is 3.99 units per acre, which is consistent with the UDC and the comprehensive plan. There is 1 access point that has been approved by ACHD onto Cherry Lane. 2 of the homes face north with access to the north. 1 home faces south with access from the south, and the existing residence faces north with access from the east. I did want to mention also that there is a street light depicted on the plat. It's a little hard to find, but it's up by our access point onto Cherry Lane. The applicant and project team have reviewed the Meridian staff report and are in agreement with their findings and conclusions. The project engineer and I met with Public Works for a detailed discussion prior to the P&Z hearing to fine-tune the site layout with locations for water lines, the fire hydrant and service line, and the sewer services to make sure we were in conformance with Public Works standards for easements. The outcome of the meeting was that the fire hydrant will now be located on the west side of the access drive near the northeast corner of the site. This location appears to allow the property owner to retain the 2 very large mature trees that are along the Cherry Lane frontage. The layout was provided to the fire department for early review by Deputy Chief Bongiorno. There was a follow-up with the fire department regarding the adjusted location of the fire hydrant, and there don't appear to be any concerns with emergency services and the site design. Just a couple of highlights. It will add 3 additional PM peak hour trips to Cherry Lane based on ACHD's analysis. We do have 3 additional guest parking spaces, and these spaces are in addition to the 2-car garages, the minimum, that come with each of the new homes. And then the existing home has 2 covered spaces, and then there are 2 spaces on the apron to provide a total of 4. And those spaces are 10 by 20. Pedestrian access, we moved to the west side of the site so that people could walk out to Cherry Lane without being adjacent to the drive aisle. These homes are intended for the middle, or sometimes referred to as workforce housing. And these middle homeowners are essential services professionals, such as school teachers, fire department staff, police, and professional nursing providers. Crowley Park will provide new home options in an existing, established, and mature neighborhood with adult trees consistent with staff's comments that the proposed subdivision provides additional variety in the mix of housing options in Meridian. There's been 3 neighborhood meetings. In consideration of the neighborhood comments, the site design pairs side yards of the new residences with the backyards of the adjacent existing residences. The purpose of that is because side yards don't get used much. And so we maximize the layout to provide as much privacy as possible to the adjacent neighbors since their backyards are adjacent to our site. The landscape architect has been notified about the updates to the landscape plan and as delineated in the staff report. Stacy covered that in more detail. With the clear path forward based on the discussion with Public Works, the landscape plan will now retain the landscape buffer that we originally proposed between the existing home and the first lot to the south of it. And I was really pleased with that because we had a nice landscape buffer in there. The fire department has been consulted about the revised fire hydrant, as I've already mentioned, and it appears to work well with emergency service access. Just briefly, I'd like to cover the treatment of the carport for the front existing residence. Access will be changed to the south, and the north and west sides will be fully enclosed with siding to complement the existing residence. From the street, it will appear like a garage. The apron adjacent to the carport provides 2 additional parking spaces for a total of 4 with the existing home. The location of the water service for the hydrant will allow fencing to screen the west side of the front lot, which eliminates any service line fencing conflicts. The project team will continue to work with Public Works as needed. They've been very helpful and got down in the weeds with us. We really appreciate their time and effort. As discussed in the project narrative, the property owner would like to retain the existing well for PI should it be needed. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions or have discussions with the council on areas of concern. Your approval of the applications is respectfully requested. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Penelope. Council, questions for the applicant?
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, do we have anybody signed up to provide testimony on this item?
Mr. Mayor, we did not.
Okay, is there anybody present who would like to come forward and provide testimony on this item, or anybody online that would like to provide testimony? If you're online, you can use the raise your hand function. Seeing no one wishing to come forward or raising their hand.
Sure.
Councilman Cavanagh.
See anybody? Oh, I guess we need to give the applicant a.
Yeah, I was
if
gonna.
They want a rebuttal.
Would the applicant like to make any final comments? That applicant says no, they're good.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilwoman Schrader.
I did just want to briefly hear from the fire department to confirm that they don't have any concerns about access, just given the layout of the common drive and everything.
Mr. Mayor, Councilwoman Strader, there's actually a fire department turnaround halfway down the driveway that we incorporated into it. It's hard to see it, but it's there. So it's a full fire approved turnaround. There's a fire hydrant back there as well. So we're good.
Perfect. Thank you.
With that, do I have any more discussion or motion?
Mayor.
Councilman Cavanagh.
Move we close the public hearing on item 19, application number H-2023-0053.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Yes, having the public hearing is closed.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Cavanagh.
Stacey, appreciate you're very thorough. This is a small project, but there are some little unique pieces, and I always appreciate how you kind of walk us through it. From my perspective, as a cut and dry infill application, appreciate the applicant's work. Planning and Zoning Commission did a really good job kind of vetting through this and addressing some of those little concerns that popped up from the neighbors, which is probably why we don't have anybody here tonight. So I'm happy to make the motion that we approve item 19, application 2023-0053, include all staff and applicant testimony.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve item H 2023-0053. Is there discussion? If not, clerk call the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Strater,
Aye.
Overton.
Aye.
Cavanagh.
Aye.
Hoagland.
All ayes, motion carries. The item is agreed to. Congratulations and thank you. With that, council, then our future meeting topics.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Cavanagh.
no future meeting topics. I just, before we adjourn, I just want to thank and commend Councilmember Strader for helping to organize a great event tonight. One of what I hope is a future annual event in our community, and I appreciate you and our staff doing good work to accommodate all of this. This is another good step forward and another great event in Meridian. So kudos to Councilmember Strader and our staff.
Here.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Strader.
I just want to thank you all again for being there and showing your support. Thank you.
All right,
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Hoagland.
I move that we adjourn our regular meeting.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.